I'm back. This is Chandler for Melda Production, and today I want to show you how you can make something like an engine sound using MSoundfactory. And this was actually a request from someone. Someone asked me, like, hey, is it possible to make an engine sound in MSoundfactory? And I thought it was, but I wasn't quite sure. Now, of course, to do this, I could just, get some samples or something and do something with that, but where's the fun in that? Let's actually use some oscillators. And so I'll kind of explain this and explain my thought process behind that. But first, let me actually let you listen to what it sounds like. So here we go. Okay, so there you go. Of course, you can change it and things, but that's the basic sound. I actually probably want that a little bit brighter, but we can work around that. So let me actually try to recreate this. So I'm going to go in here. Let's just move this up. This is a different tab. And what I'm going to do is try to recreate it. And when I thought of this, I thought, okay, what's happening here? So an engine, it sounds like something is, like the volume is going up and down. And the faster it goes up and down, the pitch rises. And so this happens oftentimes with something like a tremolo. So first I tried a tremolo, but to be honest, that really didn't work. Then I tried AM frequency modulation. So let's see here. I have two different oscillators. Let's try the merger. And by using this, what I can do, actually, let me steal the sidechain. I can combine these together, which I'm going to set these both to a sine wave. Like this. And if I set this to 100% and set it to ring modulation, this is just frequency modulation. So let's hear what this sounds like. Not like much. If I move this down a few octaves, that's closer to what I want. The volume's still a little bit low. I could try to turn this up a little bit. That's close to what I want, but I actually found that frequency modulation was closer to what I wanted. So something like this. Now at first I thought, like, what is that? But these engines, the way they work, they kind of have like a cyclical sound, and I think it's probably kind of like similar to like a Doppler effect that's causing it. So now that I have like the, I guess, theoretical basis behind it, I can do something with it. So we have these, and they're both just sine waves. If I play it higher, it sounds like that. And so, like, you can kind of hear some engine stuff in there, but it's like, that's really not an engine. So, to actually get the engine sound like it's revving, we're going to use this semitones here. And if we move it down, you'll hear it get slower. So you hear like, okay, that's the engine sound. I can kind of hear that. So one thing I can do also is once it comes out of here, sometimes it's a little bit too, bassy. So I want to cut this off just a little bit though. And let's do it like maybe like an octave below, like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. And so I'm just getting rid of some of that low end. And so that's fine and good, but you think like, okay, isn't there more? Like, that doesn't sound perfect, really. And it sounds a little bit just like too low in harmonics. I need more harmonics. Actually, one thing I can do is turn the depth up like this. And so that actually does a lot. But another thing to get more harmonics besides just increasing the depth is I can actually change the shape. So sine wave is not going to have many harmonics, but if I move this here, like let's try this, and let's move this one too. And now let's hear how this sounds. So that's sounding all right, but sometimes there's also some kind of randomness going on. And first I was like, how do I do that? But I actually found a good way to do that using noise. So I'm just going to add a noise generator here. Okay, let's turn these off for a second so I can just hear this. Okay, now let's add a filter. And I got this idea from modal synthesis. What I'm going to do is just add a bandpass filter. Let's try 36 decibels per octave. And just tune the resonance until it sounds almost like a sine wave. Okay, now let's turn the input up so we can actually hear that. I want it to be balanced with the other one. So the other one is what, -12? So let's try to get this -12 also. Okay, let's change this to mono also. Okay, so you can kind of hear the tone, but it's not really that strong, but that's okay. What we're going to do now is add a ratio module in here. Connect this up to there, steal the sidechain. Everything's off now, so that's why it's not working, but now you see it's all connected together. So now if I do it, if I turn it all the way to the left, it's just using the oscillator like this. But if I turn it to the right, I get that kind of like rumbling you'd hear from an engine. And then, of course, we can blend it however we like this. Now, if we go into this second oscillator here and mess with the semitones, it'll make it go faster and slower. Now you hear those kind of like random-ish things in there. That's because of the white noise. And if we turn it up, it'll sound almost like a broken engine, like an old airplane engine, like this. Okay, so I like to keep it around like 50%. And of course from here, what I probably do is like add more things. I've add MIDI controller so I can control the second oscillator semitones using, for example, a mod wheel. I'd probably also adjust maybe the pulse width modulation just so I can get the tone right. So I can do that and try to get the tone closer to what I want. And you can mess with both of these, the depth of the pulse width modulation for both the oscillators, just so you can get the right amount of like high harmonics that you want, etc. And one more thing I might want to do is use maybe the bandpass filter, or I'm not sure, I could use another module too to adjust the input, because when it gets really low in pitch here with the semitones on the second one, I also want the volume to go down. And that's actually what I did on the first one. I'll let you hear, or let you see what I did. So it's the exact same thing. I'm just using a bandpass here, and then here, you'll notice the volume. Look at the transform shape. For most of the time, you know, it's okay. But then when it gets to the lower end of the mod wheel, it quickly dies off. So it will sound like this. If you can hear that, you can kind of hear the engine kind of like sputtering down as it gets lower in volume. And so that's basically the sound. You can adjust it from there, like I said, if you want more high harmonics. And I've added some effects here, so I added just the EQ to cut out some of the low end, and there's some like, I don't know, kind of like distortion, harshness in here, so I cut that out. And then I added a limiter so it's not getting too loud. I want it to be louder. By itself, it's in that low register, so it's a little bit hard to hear, and limiter just kind of evens it out. You could probably also use a multi-band compressor, but also don't feel afraid to mess with some other things. So let's say I wanted a phaser. I found this can sound really cool with this. So let's check this out. Let's try some other ones. Let's see about Alien. And let's try one more. Try, I don't know, distortion. This might sound good or bad, I'm not sure. Might turn the width down. So as you can hear, there's all sorts of things you could do with this. You could add phasers, you could add other things. I just use easy convolution and use this kind of backyard, just a reverb, just so you get a little bit more space to it. But I think this is a cool thing you can use, and you can use it for more different sounds. I'm using it on a low note, but you could play a higher note if you wanted to, like this. Sounds more like, I don't know, lawnmower. Actually, I don't even know. Maybe a blender. But you see there's lots of versatility, and there's lots of things you can do with this, with the different FX options. And then in the generator, of course, you can adjust everything to get it exactly how you'd like it. But hope this answered the question to who asked for the person who requested this and wondered if you could do it. Hope this sounded good to you. Of course, play with it yourself, and you can transform this in any number of ways. But if you like this, give me a thumbs up, leave me any questions or comments down below, and check out all the other plugins at meldaproduction.com. Until next time, see you.